Hey everyone, welcome to the beach with General Sunbeam.
Aloha! Glad you could join us.
Relax, soak up the sun, and enjoy.
Yeah, this used to be my old bedroom. A lot of memories happened in this room, but every journey has a beginning, and this is where mine started.
Okay, three, two, one, and we're live. Live streaming here at the home. Our recent move-in home. This house, me and my wife. General Sunbeam and Asuna Bina 500, or Asuna 500. Alright. So again, three, two, one, and we're live. Live streaming here on Facebook. Actively live streaming, actively recording, got the webcam on. This is the real me. I'm Sunbeam Titan, or General Sunbeam. Sunbeam 007, Sunbeam 0072 on Twitch, and on DeviantArt, Sunbeam 0, and I also have another DeviantArt under Solitaire Cosplay. Solitaire Cosplay here on Facebook and DeviantArt, DA. Alright, I'm just doing a brief check, checking insights. So I got one comment, no viewers at the moment. It's 8:08 a.m. in the morning. Just doing a test, just trying to test my microphone. I'm using the microphone array, Realtek audio here on my Asus VivoBook laptop, so there's no mic. I haven't set up the mic. I have two mics. I don't know where's the other one, but I got two microphones, but I'm using the laptop's own microphone, the microphone array Realtek here on Asus VivoBook. So I apologize if you can barely hear me. If you can't hear me clearly, loud enough, I'm sorry, but I'm just doing my best to communicate. Again, I got slurred speech, tongue twists. I might have muffled or blurred, muttering speech, so I apologize. I mean, my mouth is dry from talking too much yesterday. Yesterday, late night morning after 12 a.m. Here in the basketball room or in the office space here, in the office workspace here. This is where I'll be producing content for YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, Instagram. So you're here in the office space here. I dub it as the basketball room because of Lakers 23, LeBron James here in the closet, and Michael Jordan, Chicago Bull, because, there you go. So, because the poster right there. And I want to tell you the truth, I'm not a basketball fan. I don't really watch basketball. I might stream it. I might live stream it for those that care about sports. If you're a sports fan, I would live stream it. But again, I'm just here for the purpose of live streaming, producing content. So, there's me right here, background, office workspace, basketball room, Lakers, Chicago Bull. I'm doing all this for the sake of content creation, content making, content production. I'm live streaming right now. We're live on Facebook, on my profile, my Facebook profile. This is me, Sunbeam Thai 10, General Sunbeam, reporting for duty. Got my Sword Online cap on. And I have my two phones right here. I'm charging my other phone right now. It's like 50%. I'm trying to charge it for mostly 100%. But I'm using typical 2 or 3 phones trying to make extra money. Crypto coin, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. And today is the day I bring out the trash bin. Tomorrow will be trash day here in this community, in this HOA community. And I got stuffy nose, bit of runny nose. I got allergies, morning allergies. Got to do some serious dusting and organizing. Get me some water. I'm dehydrated. But yeah, so we're live streaming here on Facebook. So anyone tuning in at this hour it's 8:11 in the morning. My wife is at work. My family's doing okay. My immediate family is doing okay. I'm doing okay. Let me move this laptop a bit, get some closer. Alright. Oh, too low frame per second. Let's see. The current frame rate is too low. Please Please set the frame rate to 15 to 60 FPS or viewers may experience a lower quality stream. I don't know how to do that, but oh well. So right now I'm home alone. I sometimes don't feel safe when I'm home alone, literally. Right now it's morning. I think the sun is rising. It's cold. It is 53 degrees Fahrenheit, sunny here in Texas. But again, I'm home alone here in this office workspace in the basketball room. And it's just me by myself here at this home. Just in case, I want to express if anything happens to me, it might be me. I might have a heart attack, cardiac arrest, so like any heart problems here. I might have a heart attack. My right shoulder is a bit stiff. I could use a full body massage, a foot reflexology, or foot massage. But again, I could really use a 90-hour or 120-minute full body massage from the full body from neck down to the feet. Oh, again, I took my wife to work earlier. I'm surprised she woke up early and then wake me up for work. I'm glad she's taking responsibility, taking work seriously. I have just paid off most of my credit card, but I still got some pretty hefty debt on my credit card to pay off for next month, and I'm going to be adding more to that card. I really wish I could get 1,000 followers on Rumble, Facebook, Instagram, 1,000 followers to get some sponsorship and brand sponsorship. 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, on my YouTube, General Sunbeam, one word, GS. So anyone watching this, I appreciate your support. Follow, hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button. Help me reach 1,000 followers on Facebook, Instagram, 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, 1,000 followers on Rumble, General Sunbeam, Sunbeam 007 or Sunbeam. I'm usually known as Sunbeam. I'm finding many ways to make money. Trying to wish to be wealthy, being me, without having to go to work. I don't want to work at a W-2, W-4 job. I don't want to go back to work at Amazon or any other restaurant. So I don't want to be doing all that. I want to teach my wife how to do live streaming on Facebook and how to, just live stream her playing Genshin and teach her how to live stream on Rumble. Okay, I'm not sure. I just hear some little small popping noise. I'm not sure if it's the floor or the wood, the flooring's here, or if anyone's outside. Again, I don't approve. I do not support trespassers or trespassing or anyone trying to be a creep or a stalker. I have called the police before. There was a vehicle, an unauthorized vehicle parked me and my wife's residence, and I called the police. At the time, we weren't able to move in fully yet, so that was an unauthorized vehicle, a 4x4 pickup truck or Ram or Chevrolet. It's a black pickup truck. I'm sure I have documented the license plate, but I called the police here, and then they come and then they talk, and then it was a smoke alarm battery fault going off. At the time, that was way before we tried to move in. But I called the police, and then they said that the vehicle parked there was in an emergency, and they had to park on the driveway. But at the time I arrived, the vehicle had driven off. That was like somewhere in late February on a Monday when after I take my wife to work at that time. After I drive far to take my wife, I stopped by the home here, and there was an unauthorized vehicle around 8 a.m., 7 a.m. around that time, early in the morning. Called the police. Reported as unauthorized vehicle, possible trespasser or creep, and they check on that person, the driver, because again I got the license plate, the Texas license plate. It's a black 4x4 Chevrolet style pickup truck parked on the driveway at this home here, at this home living space, and there's no problem. Everything's okay, and it was at the same time the smoke alarm went off because the battery's low and there was no electricity at the time. But now we have electricity, water, internet, we have full utilities, all in working order. My immediate family member was here yesterday, and they'll be coming over Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon. So I just want to share that we will have guests over, and they communicated with me, they let me know already. They'll be coming back here Saturday weekend, and I already communicated with my wife, and my surrounding friends, my brother-in-law. That again, my family will be coming over this weekend, Saturday, either morning or afternoon, to install security features, to install security surveillance cameras, and all that. Ugh. Let me drink some more water. Yeah, early morning is cold. It is 50 degrees Fahrenheit. It is sunny. It's going to get hot. My voice is kind of scratchy. Got a cup. I got a cup of coffee here. Uh, Honestly, I went to my wife's bedroom and checked to make sure that she keeps her room clean. Well, the master bedroom across from here, the other room, I kind of took this coffee. I knew my wife won't be able to finish it, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this coffee before it gets cold and old. I don't want it to go bad or spoiled or expired. I communicated with my wife, Asuna Bina, Asuna 500, to clean up her room, sweep the floor, keep the room clean, keep the master bedroom clean. If she doesn't want bugs, roaches, spiders, or any unusual bugs, flies, gnats, maggots, or whatever, any form of creepy crawlers or bugs, need to keep the room clean. But I'm gonna go ahead and finish this cup of coffee. I'm trying to stay awake. I'm tired, sleepy, exhausted. Gotta do my stretch. I might step out and check the living room, check around the area, making sure we don't have unexpected, unauthorized trespassers. And again, I will not hesitate to call the police. I'll call first responder 911. Trying to keep this house safe and secured. But I'll still finish this coffee. I don't know if I put enough cream. I do apologize if I didn't put enough cream here. I went to the bank yesterday. After I finished my drop off for lunch drop Wednesday. Let's get some light. Trying to shine some light. There we go. So yeah, I went to the bank yesterday to deposit some funds, and then got me 2 cups of coffee, one for myself. And at the time, my immediate family members called me. They say they are here at this house to install, set up the table, set up some furnitures, work on setting up surveillance security cameras around the household property, the resident property, setting up security cameras. And there's a lot of work to be done, a lot of landscaping, and it's just a lot of stress. How my immediate family are. They're stressed. They're very private, reserved, stringent, tense, distress, stress, PTSD, all that. It's just a lot of headache and always a lot of frustration. But again, I'm home alone. I'm currently home alone for the next 10 hours or 9 hours. It's just me by myself. Later on, I'll be doing lunch drop. I'm going to be out on the road, going to have my vehicle away from the house. I believe my immediate family have called me saying there's going to be some packages coming over, left at the front porch, at the front porch of this household residence. I've been well informed by my immediate family. So again, there's going to be some packages coming over. My wife got her packages yesterday, and she shared on her personal Facebook here, on Facebook and Instagram, that she got her cosplay, her Columbina cosplay from Genshin Impact. So she got her packages delivered earlier than expected, but my immediate family have told me there's going to be few packages, and I should try to be home as soon as possible to retrieve the packages, and there's no security cameras or surveillance. So I pray to the Lord for safety, security, and no home invasion, forced entries, or any burglaries or anything. And trying to do it to the best of my abilities to enhance security. And again, everyone, future visitor or guest will be documented or recorded. And I wish I could get the security cameras up, but it's a lot of work. My immediate family are working their butts off to try to set up security cameras and do a lot of setup, spending a lot of money on this household. And I couldn't even make enough based on what I'm doing. Lunch drop and Uber Eats. I don't make 4 or 5K grand in net pay. I'm hoping to make that much, but it is what it is. Hoping to be a successful content creator, trying to make multiple streams of income as possible. But yeah, go ahead and finish this cup of coffee. finish this bottle of water. But yeah, if anything happens to me because I'm home alone, I'm by myself, I'm still doing okay. I'm trying to do some stretches and exercise. Let me move this away. Make sure the floor is okay. That charger's right here. I'm going to charge one of those phones. Keep them fully charged. So again, I'm home. I know I said this many times. I'm gonna repeat this once more, but I'm literally home alone. It's just me by myself here in this household residence. For anyone watching here on Facebook, if anything happens to me, I don't know. My heart is kind of racing a bit, heart beating. Trying to do some exercise and stretches. Trying to do some walking, get the walking, do some exercise. I know there's a gym here in the HOA community property, but I always say this is the Sun Communities. And they do have a gym and a pool not too far from the north side and the south side of this office, the HOA office, or the community amenity office. Living with neighbors, surrounding neighbors, left and right, across. And it is a mostly safe neighborhood, I would say. I still don't feel safe 100%, but mostly safe. This household residence okay, but hey, at least got a roof over our head for me and my wife, and we can be ourselves. Again, viewer discretion is advised, 18 plus. So let me try to zoom in. Viewer discretion is advised, 18 plus. Not safe for work. So I just want to communicate and give the heads up. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and keep my feet on the desk. So viewer discretion is advised. Okay, I'm currently wearing my shoes, got my long pants, socks. You can see here, this is why I don't like wearing closed-toed shoes. Shoes are old and worn, creased. This shoe's been having for like 2 or 3 years. I don't know what kind of shoes this is, particularly. But you can see the soles, the bottom of the shoes is dirty. There's dirt and some grass stains. And you can see, I've been wearing this, so there's some wear and tear, some wear and tear on these shoes. That's why I don't like buying shoes. I don't know how much these shoes cost. They cost like $40, $50, $60, $80, $100. I forgot where I got these shoes, but I think it's been ordered through my family. My family ordered it for me, probably through Amazon. You know, Zappos shoes from Amazon. I mean, if it's free, I mean, it's some good free shoes from Amazon when you work for them. But you see, I'm making a point that these shoes, I've been owning it for 3 or 4 years, and it's showing its signs of wear and tear. It's wearing down, and you know, the soles is dirty. That's why I don't like wearing shoes. These kind of shoes, any open-toe shoes, I don't like wearing shoes in general. So again, I apologize for sharing the soles, dirty shoes, and all that. But yeah, viewer discretion is advised. All right, go ahead and take off the shoes. Yeah, it's dirty. You can see that. This is why I don't like wearing shoes, closed-toed shoes or open-toed shoes. You can see it's all that wear and tear out there, showing wear and tear. Let's see, trying to figure out what's the brand of the shoes, but again, I mean, I will wear this when I go to the gym and go exercising. Let's see, this is probably ChatGPT would able to identify what kind of shoes this is, but it's able to fit my feet. And this is about size 13 US size. Okay. It is something, it has 0D. I don't know what brand this is, but again, you can see the wear and tear. The insoles, the inside of the shoes, the insoles, damaged. It's not new. You can see it's a lot of wear, a lot of use. Alright. Time to kick out my other shoes. Yeah, this is why I don't wear closed-toed shoes. Just to be very clear, I'm not much of a closed-toed shoe person. I don't like wearing this going to work. That's why I don't like working W-2 job or W-4. I really hate the typical dress code is, I hate the dress code, shirts, pants, and shoes, or no service. I hate having to wear shoes. And I don't like that majority of conventions are required or you have to wear footwear. Shoes, closed-toed, open-toed shoes, work, often saying wearing closed-toed shoes is mandatory. I strongly disagree. This is why I hate having to keep buying shoes because of all these wear and tear and all this. But yeah, I don't know how much these shoes in particular cost, but I know shoes are expensive. Here's my socks. For those that like socks, there's some socks. Again, viewer discretion is advised. It may contain politics and news, foot fetishism, feet, or foot-centric content. So I apologize if this is disturbing or unsettling, awkward, but this is my live stream. I am General Sunbeam, Sunbeam Titan, and I want to relax. I want to live the free lifestyle, almost a carefree lifestyle. As long as everyone is safety, doing everything safe. Black socks. Let me see what is the Fruit of the Loom brand. This socks is from the Fruit of the Loom, just like the underwear, the company Fruit of the Loom. This is fairly long socks. Okay, it goes up to the shins, the calf, halfway to the knee and the thighs, the kneecap. But yeah. Alright, well, that's enough showing the black socks. Time to kick off the socks now. Go barefoot. Because I love being barefoot. I love feet. Ugh. There you go. There's some good bare feet, barefoot, foot-centric foot fetishism for those that love soles, toes, and feet. For male modeling, for Asian male like myself, if you're a big fan of male feet, well, there you go. Sorry, but not sorry. For those that love bare feet, footsies, footsie play, footsie foreplay, there you go. Some good foot-centric content. That should be enough. Alright, that's enough foot-centric content. Ooh, okay. Alright, I'm gonna be right back. I'll be right back. Here, all the phone is charged. Gonna do some organizing. So my wife got this special OnePlus Buds 4. My brother-in-law or my wife's brother shipped this to the home residence, to this home residence here. I'm gonna put this in the other room, across from here. Let me go ahead and put on my glasses. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take this to the living room, common space. And then I'm gonna bring this laptop back. Again, I'm just recording, exiting this basketball room office workspace. Okay. Okay, so testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I'm just doing a mic check on this Aces favorite book. So I got, all right, just putting it right here in the corner. Okay. Go ahead and put this in the other room. Go ahead and turn on TV. All right, so I'm gonna be right back. I can see myself, see my video selfie right there. This is General Sunbeam, Sunbeam Titan. So thank you for watching or viewing. Apologize, just gonna do some quiet, non-commentary ASMR here in this household residence. So here in the common space area, the living room. Gonna put on some random YouTube. Gonna put on some random YouTube on the television. Hopefully I don't get in trouble. Hopefully I don't get any copyright infringement. And if so, I don't mean any copyright infringement, but I'm just sharing some background television. Freaking advertisement. Really hate advertisements.
About yourself, your family, your finances, your health, you're going to become what you're continually saying. That's why it's so important to
Israel struck the South Pars gas field, the world's largest natural gas reserve, triggering Iranian attacks on Qatari gas facilities.
So if you're able to hear any voice or anything in the distance, I just got the TV turned on here in the common space here in the living room. So I have the TV on and I put on the news. So I apologize. So again, viewer discretion is advised. Again, I did post that will be containing politics and news. So I have the news playing on here in the living room TV, on the television here in the common space. And I'm going to step out and take care of chores, washing the dishes, do some household chores around this household residence. Because again, it's literally just me by myself. If anything happens to me, I don't know, I might pass out or something. Again, my heart is racing. I had a little bit of coffee, some caffeine. So I'm still doing okay. I'm going to do my stretch and do a little bit of walking around, get some exercise in, morning exercise around this household residence. But again, it's just me by myself here in this home alone. So if anything happens to me, just know it's all here streaming to the public for anyone to see. And again, I don't mind humiliating, embarrassing myself. It's just me here at this home. So anyway, I'm gonna be right back, and I'm just gonna AFK stream as it is.
the Ayatollah, the supreme leader, and they continue to focus on that effort.
How does that differ from our goals?
The president has stated that his objectives are to destroy Iran's ballistic missile launching capability, their ballistic missile production capability, and their Navy, the IRGC Navy and mine laying capability.
So the death and destruction continues. The economic cost to the United States, to Israel, to the Gulf states, and to the world continues to increase. So I want to ask you, to the best of your knowledge, do you know whether Israel is supportive of the president's call to make a deal with Iran?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know Israel's position on that.
And to what do you attribute Israel's decision to strike Iranian energy infrastructure despite President Trump's call to keep those facilities off limits?
I don't have an answer for that.
So they ignored the president. Do you agree with that?
I'm not privy to any of their deliberations or what went into their calculus in launching this or other attacks. We are not involved with in the operational element of this. We're providing continuously on a daily basis the intelligence assessments of the events that are occurring, and
I guess I know the FBI can't because they're domestic, but can anybody else at the table provide any insight into that?
I guess I'm not sure what the question you're asking, Castro. I guess a couple things. The goals that the president set out are clearly defined. The DNI granted those. What was not included is a goal of the U.S.
Well, Director, let me start with this question. You asked for my question. Let me reclaim my time, Director. Come on. Do you know why Israel decided to strike that infrastructure despite the fact that the president said it should be off limits?
I wouldn't speak for Israel.
What do you guys know? We're at war. What do you guys know?
let's take that for the record.
Yes, let's take it for the record.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to welcome the panelists here today. Today is March 19th. On April 19th, Pfizer goes dark. 702 goes dark. And it's been talked about many times, but up to 60% of the president's daily briefing is derived from Pfizer 702. And we look at the successes that we've had in protecting the homeland and also the conflicts the U.S. has been involved with. The flawless operation in Venezuela, Operation Fury in Iran, troop protection, the successes we've had on the battlefield in Ukraine, the recovery and release of the Hamas hostages in the tunnels in Israel, all derived from Pfizer 702. There is not a military operation that we've been involved with where Pfizer 702 was not, as Director Ratcliffe has said, been indispensable to the United States in the protection of our country. Director Patel has also said Pfizer 702 is indispensable. We're 30 days away from it going dark. Director Ratcliffe, can you clarify the President's position on an 18-month clean reauthorization and how that's going to proceed moving forward?
Congressman, thank you. Thank you for highlighting this issue. So the President is in favor of an 18-month clean reauthorization of Pfizer 702. And I would add to that, I'm heartened by the fact to hear that the chairman of this committee and the ranking member are in agreement with that. And I know there's bipartisan support for that, and there should be. And I know this is an important vote for you to take, but I would ask that you all consider when you do that when you look at the fact that former DNIs and former CIA directors and former FBI directors and DIA directors and NSA directors across Republican and Democrat administrations are in support of FISA 702 in its current form. These are the people making the decisions to keep Americans safe. And so I wish the reauthorization was longer than 18 months, Congressman. I think that this is something that I wish you all indispensable. Across administrations provides more than half of the important, actionable intelligence that the President and the Commander-in-Chief relies upon.
Thank you for that. Director Gabbard, you're supportive of the 18-month extension the President's seeking without a warrant requirement?
That is the President's position, and that is the position of the intelligence community.
And you will be supporting that, correct?
I will support the President's decision to execute this.
Correct. Thank you. Director Gabbard, we implemented 2 years ago a number of reforms, actually 56 of them, that were part of the Reforming Intelligence and Security.
In the furniture business, things move fast. ZipRecruiter helped us hire qualified candidates who keep up. We needed a project manager yesterday. We posted a job with ZipRecruiter and had our guy on site 5 days. He was qualified in every way. ZipRecruiter finds the best candidates for all our jobs. They helped us build our dream team and did it fast. Is that too fast for you?
4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/YouTube.
Penalties now for FBI agents that are engaged in inappropriate activity as it relates to FISA. Please tell us some of those reforms and how those have been implemented. Director Patel.
Sorry, I thought you were asking 13. Absolutely. So we've gone above and beyond what RISA requires since I became director 13 months ago. We not only require supervisory special agents to approve the query request of U.S. persons, we also require the general counsel's office and lawyers to come in and agree with that request before we can proceed. Also, we have that we used to, before this, had a default which allowed queries when we were utilizing our system to say it automatically sent to 702. You now have to actually opt in and select that box to make sure that you are intentionally doing so. On top of that, we've reduced the number of personnel at the FBI from 6,600 before I got there to 3,500 that have access to it. Not that use it, but that have access to it. And we've also gone above and beyond what RISA requires in terms of if you misuse it unintentionally or recklessly, if you use it misuse it unintentionally, like you typed a name wrong in terms of spelling or whatnot, if your access is suspended and be retrained. If you recklessly used it, you're immediately terminated your access forever.
Thank you.
Mr. Crow.
Thank you, Chairman. Director Gabbard, it is your job and the job of your agency and department to assess the views of Iranian leadership, their policy beliefs, and policy positions, correct?
Yes.
That includes now the deceased Ali Khamenei of Iran, correct?
Yes.
And the now leader is his son Mujtaba Khamenei, correct?
Yes.
The son is considered more of a hardliner than his father. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
So hardline that even some of Iran's leaders thought he was too aggressive. Isn't that correct?
That is the intelligence community assessment, yes.
Mujtaba, the son, is particularly close to the brutal Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and their most hardline commanders, correct?
That is the intelligence community assessment.
He was involved in ordering violent crackdowns on Iranian protesters, including their murder, correct?
Yes.
And we don't know if the son will continue his father's religious ban on developing nuclear weapons. Is that correct?
It is unknown at this time.
You testified before this committee last year that the elder now deceased Khamenei had in 2003 banned the nuclear weapons program or suspended it, correct?
There was a fatwa in place that stated that.
And that fatwa remained in place last year when you testified before this committee, correct?
Yes.
And that fatwa remained in place recently, correct?
As far as I know, it has not been lifted.
Yeah, you're aware of no information that would lift that fatwa.
I'm not aware of any intelligence reporting that states that. To be clear on the Mujtaba, the son who has been named to replace him, it is unclear of his status or his involvement. He was injured very severely through one of the Israeli strikes, and so the decision-making is unclear about what's happening in the Iranian leadership.
So it's unclear. So we're less certain of the positions of Iranian leadership and their intentions than we were 60 days ago, correct?
That's an accurate assessment.
One of your jobs is to create products assessing Iran and the threats it poses to the United States, correct?
Yes.
And that includes potential outcomes for military action, correct?
It includes potential outcomes of a variety of scenarios.
And the likelihood of those outcomes.
Yes.
Generally, when you make assessments about threats facing the United States, you will look at, in Iran in any instance, the likely scenarios that have come out of military action, correct?
The intelligence community takes all of those factors into account when they create these assessments.
When you look at the threats posed by foreign countries, you also assess timelines to those threats, correct?
What do you mean by timelines?
Like a breakout time, for example, for nuclear weapons or the development of ballistic missiles.
Yes, based on the information available at any given time.
In the timeline also for potential terrorist attacks, correct?
Broadly, yes. Assesses all matters
for the IC to assess the timeline of all threats. Nuclear weapons development, ballistic, right?
Yes.
Ballistic weapons development.
Based on the information available, yes.
Terrorist attacks.
Same applies.
Cyber attacks. Timelines for all of those, correct?
When there is information available that point to that, yes.
In likelihood, as well as the timeline, correct?
Based on the information available.
Timing is important, is it not?
It is an important factor that goes into the assessment.
So it is your position sitting here today that you made no timeline determination as to threats that Iran have facing the United States, correct?
That's a very broad statement, but where the information is available, the intelligence community factors that into their assessment process.
You or the IC make any assessments as to the timing of potential threats facing the United States from Iran in the last 90 days?
I'm sure there was timelines factored into the intelligence assessments that were delivered.
They didn't even show imminence.
The imminent nature of a threat is determined by the president based on a totality of the intelligence and information provided to them.
They didn't show that there were attacks anticipated within the next 90 days from Iran.
It's too simplistic of a statement to say that because it depends on various scenarios occurring or not occurring.
Did those assessments show timelines for the threats that Iran posed to the United States?
The totality of threats, yes, there were timelines involved where it applied and where that information was available. But again, to your question about the determination of imminence, the president makes that determination based on the totality of information and intelligence.
The bottom line is there was no imminent threat, and you know that, and there's no product that shows that. I yield back.
Mr. Fitzpatrick. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for being here today. I want to expand on the question from my colleague, Mr. LaHood. Regarding FISA 702, obviously it is the imminent issue right before us. Will expire in a month. Unequivocally the most critical national security tool our nation has to keep us safe from fentanyl, from foreign wars, and everything in between. Mainly, to Director Ratcliffe, but any of you can answer this. One of the most perplexing debates that I've been subject to in my time here is this debate over what warrants are and when they're needed. In the 250-year history of this country, and going back to the very origins of law enforcement, we've always had a warrant requirement on the collection of evidence. We have never had a warrant requirement on the querying of already lawfully collected data, which is why we don't require police officers to get warrants when they run license plates, querying off of already lawfully collected DOT data. It's why we don't require police officers to get a warrant to enter the evidence locker in their police precincts, which contains already lawfully collected data. It would literally shut down the system. And that's not a warrant requirement, that's a secondary warrant requirement. That's a warrant requirement on steroids. So, Director Ratcliffe, or any of you, I know you've been subject to these questions as well. Is it just a confusion over the difference between the collection of evidence versus the querying of our already lawfully collected data? Is it a lack of understanding of what incidental collection is, which is a fundamental precept of law enforcement? But if we had a warrant requirement on steroids for now the querying of already lawfully collected data, just by the numbers, that would require an expansion of the federal judiciary by a factor of 100. It would literally shut down our law enforcement apparatus at perhaps the most dangerous time in our nation's history. So, Director Ratcliffe, or any of you, you could just walk me through your analysis there.
Well, I'll start, Congressman. Thanks for the question. Again, thanks for highlighting this important issue. And as has been pointed out, reforms should be implemented where they're necessary. And I think, speaking for myself, and I know Director Patel supported the reforms from 2 years ago to make improvements, and they did. And so some reforms should be considered. A warrant isn't one of them. And with respect to the reforms that have been implemented, we're talking about, when we talk about Fourth Amendment rights and privacy concerns, we're at a 99.9% compliance rate with respect to that. So I would start by saying, why are you trying to fix what's not broken with something that I can tell you from this seat, the fix would not work. And I go back to my comment before. DNIs, CIA directors, FBI directors, the people that have been in all of these chairs before, bipartisan basis, agree that a warrant won't work and don't advocate for it. Congressman, you're correct. This is lawfully collected information, and these things come at you very fast, and you have to make decisions very quickly, and sometimes in a matter of hours. You have to act on the information that you have lawfully, that has been lawfully collected to interdict drug shipments or terrorist activities, and a warrant requiring you to go to the court to seek probable cause for information that has already been lawfully collected only prevents that from happening. I don't understand. I understand that it's well-meaning for people that are proposing it, but again, I would defer to the people who sit in these chairs and make these decisions who will tell you that it doesn't work.
Anybody else want to comment on the warrant requirement?
So, Congressman, I'd love to comment. Thanks for the question. I do just want to add a couple of points. Agree with everything Director Radcliffe said. Not only is this already collected data on foreign personnel outside of the United States, but the data that is being queried has also already been analyzed to ensure that it contains foreign intelligence value, which I think is a very important part of this. And then when we query a U.S. person term, we're not querying for U.S. person information. We're querying for foreign intelligence that has already been evaluated at least once to contain foreign intelligence in the database that's being accessed. And then the final piece that I think is important is that both the FISC and the Department of Justice have established robust legal and compliance rules that we adhere to and that is audited by DOJ for every query that we make.
Thank you. I yield back.
Dr. Barrett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Gabbard, we've known each other for a long time. We were both elected to Congress in 2012 and served together for a while. I may not have always agreed with your positions, but I respected the consistency of some of your positions. Director Gabbard, following the January 3rd, 2020 drone strike that killed Qasem Soleimani, you gave a speech on the House floor 6 days later, on January 9th, 2020. In this speech, that is currently in the congressional record and available for anyone to view, you stated, quote, President Trump has committed an illegal and unconstitutional act of war, pushing our nation headlong into a war with Iran without any authorization from Congress. A war that would be so costly and devastating, it would make our wars in Iraq and Afghanistan look like a picnic. On February 28, 2026, the Trump administration, under which you are the president's principal intelligence advisor, launched an illegal and unconstitutional act of war, pushing our nation headlong into a war with Iran without any authorization from Congress. This war has already been costly and devastating. 13 American service members have lost their lives, including Chief Warrant Officer Robert Marsden from my home of Sacramento, California. Approximately 200 service members have been wounded. The Pentagon reported that the first 6 days of Operation Epic Fury cost $11.3 billion. That averages almost $2 billion per day. That was the first 6 days, and now we're in the 19th day of this war. That's ballooned into a regional conflict, putting the lives of Americans and our allies throughout the Middle East in danger. Director Gabbard, do you still believe that strikes against Iran that don't have congressional authorization constitute an illegal and unconstitutional act of war?
Congressman, thank you for the question. The cost of war weighs so heavily upon me and my colleagues here, especially for those of us who have experienced and seen the cost of war firsthand. My own personal and political views, as I mentioned earlier, I was asked and required by Congress and by the President in this role as the Director of National Intelligence to check those views at the door to ensure that the intelligence assessments are not colored by my personal views. And that's exactly what I'm responsible for.
That war with Iran would be so costly and devastating that it would make our wars in Iraq and Afghanistan look like a picnic.
Once again, in this role, it is essential that I do not allow any of my personal views on any issues to color or bias the intelligence reporting that we deliver to you and to the President.
Director Gabbard, in this hearing 1 year ago, I asked some questions, and I'll paraphrase my exact question. It's like, we should keep politics out of this. Even if the President disagrees with a directive, if it goes against his personal wishes, if he's considering an order that potentially is unconstitutional or illegal or compromises our security, I want your word that you will always provide and give the honest advice to the President, even if it will make him angry. I asked you that question. I'm going to read your answer. And to your specific question, the answer is yes. I will inform the President that accurate, timely, unbiased intelligence reporting, whether it is something that agrees with an assumption or a view or an objective or not, that's my responsibility to him and to the American people. Director Gabbard, there is no imminent threat of nuclear breakout. Did you deliver that assessment to the President?
I have delivered the intelligence community's assessments to the President.
There was no imminent nuclear threat to the United States. There was no evidence that Iran was going to attack American assets. That was different from anything they've done over 4 decades. That was going to attack our homeland. There was no imminent threat. Imminent is defined in the dictionary as something that is about to happen. Not something that's been happening for 4 decades, not something that's going to happen 3 months from now, not something that's going to happen a year from now. Imminent said this is about to happen. Did you deliver that assessment to the President?
I delivered the intelligence community's objective analysis of the threats, severity of those threats, and the scope, along with assessments of the different scenarios and contexts that exist within the Middle East.
The President owes it to the American people to go on television, to explain to the American people, to the service members who have died in action serving our country, why we're at war with Iran. He needs to go on television and explain that directly to the American people, what the imminent threat was.
Genocide inspired. I advise the members that a vote has been called. It's a single vote, and if members want to shuttle back and forth so we can maintain the continuity of the hearing, we'll do that. So if you start to see it, just our witnesses, you know how this works. They'll be moving in and out to go address that vote and then returning to their seat. But at this time, I recognize Mr. Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, for the record, I would like to submit an article from Politico dated February 24th, 2026. And the title of it is, Have Said the Union Against Man Trump Make Iran Plans Public.
Before I started using farmer talk, I would fill my dog bowls up with dry kibble in the morning, and they just kind of walk by and take at it all day. After we switched to farmer's dog, taking out weights. My golden retriever is 6 years old, but the way she used to act, you would think that she was tired. And I switched to a farmer's dog, and her energy levels up because I have to get in nutrients. Farmer's dog is human grade. He takes her, all that. He's crafted by board-certified nutrition. Earnings for $2 a day. I always thought it would be so expensive, but it really is. She delivered over 1 billion meals since they started. That's billion with the beef. Billion in American farmer's dog. I promise you won't regret it.
Just received a series of phone calls from Spanish who had threatened to kill him if he did not pay the woman coming to his house $12,000 in cash. He killed the lady, so she's dead. He now has a life sentence. Are you aware of any action or investigation that the Justice Department has taken to pursue justice, to bring the scammers and put them and make them pay for what they did?
I think you're referring to constant scam centers and scam compounds that are wreaking havoc on our citizens.
I'm referring to this individual case. This lady was murdered, and a man
can't speak to that individual case. I can tell you more generally if you wish, but as you...
No, sir, I want to bring that case to your attention. I think that we need to pursue that. Someone is dead and someone else has life in prison. The scammers that did it. My heart goes out to those families, but the scammers are the ones that need to pay the price. They're the guilty party here. Director Gabbard, you made a lot of changes at ODNI, changes that I think were necessary, that I want to give you the chance to talk about. What concrete steps in ODNI 2.0, what are they taking to address politicization, weaponization of intelligence, and unauthorized leaks, and how will these reforms help rebuild public trust in the intelligence community and help the United States of America?
Thank you very much for the question, Congressman. I committed to all of you before taking this role that I would execute on that, to bring back ODNI's focus on its core mission, to cut away any detractions away from that, and to ensure that our intelligence community is providing objective, timely, and relevant intelligence to the President and to policymakers. I conducted a ground-based review of the mission, the capabilities, and measuring effectiveness of ODNI, which resulted in a reduction of force by roughly 40% and a narrowing of focus and reorganization that consolidated and coordinated the experts within the ODNI in order to be able to deliver those effects. Leaking continues to be a prolific problem across the AIC. We have and continue to implement tools and capabilities within the Zero Trust framework to be able to get after those leakers and refer them to the Department of Justice for investigation and prosecution. We've seen, we are continuing to focus on the issue of analytic tradecraft and the integrity of it, once again, to make sure that the analysis that's being conducted is not being colored by anyone's political or personal views on any issue. To that effect, we have and continue to conduct re-looks at different intelligence products that have been provided in the past, as the chairman mentioned, one related to anomalous health incidents, to identify politicization of these products in the past, and also make updates to intelligence community directives to ensure that these things don't happen again.
Could you speak briefly to China's presence in the Caribbean and the Western Hemisphere?
I'll be able to speak to this more in the classified setting, sir.
Okay. Director Ratcliffe, I'm going to have questions for you there as well. We have not heard much about Haiti lately in the news, but it's very close to the United States. My understanding is that 1 in 4 Haitians, about 2.5 million people, now live in an area controlled by an armed group. Can you speak to what is happening in Haiti?
Yes, sir. This was something that we talked about within the annual threat assessment. Haiti, along with Cuba, continue to be areas of volatility. Haiti, as you mentioned specifically, is being controlled by a gang, and we've seen increasing threats on U.S. persons within Haiti. These two countries continue to create challenges where, with increased instability, may be one of those drivers of increased migration flows to the U.S.
Thank you all for your service.
Gentleman's time's expired. Now recognize Mr. Gottheimer.
Thank you very much, Chairman.
If I can start by talking about something I was disappointed in from the administration about comments made by members of the administration that Israel drew the United States into conflict with Iran, seeming to buy conspiracy theories that scapegoat Israel, while dismissing that Iran poses a persistent threat to America and our service members and diplomats in the region. Well, the President then clarified this is not the case, and that America entered into joint operations with our ally under our own accord. Many still seem confused about what precipitated this conflict and the threat Iran posed to us directly. So if I could ask Director Radcliffe just a couple questions, yes or no, if that's okay with you. Is the Iranian regime committed to America's destruction, in your opinion?
Yes.
Does the Iranian regime have American blood on their hands since its founding in 1979?
Yes.
Has Iran plotted assassination attempts against Americans on American soil?
Yes.
Was Iran developing a nuclear weapon prior to our military action last June? And did Iran remain committed to developing a nuclear weapon in the lead up to this conflict?
Yes, so I want to clarify on that because there's been much talk about a fatwa against the development of a nuclear weapon.
Can you come back to that in 1 second? Let me finish.
Yes.
If left unchecked, do you think Iran would have the ability to develop missiles capable of reaching the United States? States?
Yes.
Did Israel force the U.S.'s hand and make us take action, as some have claimed?
No.
Director Gabbard, do you agree with the CIA's director's assessment on that last question in particular? Great. Do you want to go back to that point you want to make?
Yeah, much has been made by some about a fatwa against the development of nuclear weapons. Notwithstanding the fatwa, what we know, and the intelligence community is in agreement on this, is that Iran possesses at least 440 kilograms of uranium enriched to weapons grade 60%, which doesn't have a civilian use. The only use for that would be the development of nuclear weapons.
Thank you, Director. Director Gabbard, I want to raise serious concerns about your recent hiring of Dan Caldwell, a strict critic of U.S. foreign policy in the Middle East, who's argued that U.S. forces in the Middle East are, quote, more of a burden than a benefit, has claimed that Iran's nuclear program does not pose a risk to America, despite the IC's assessment to the contrary. Dan has also said that our relationship with Israel has no benefit to American national security. This follows the arrestation of Joe Kent this week, a senior ally of yours who is a conspiracy theorizing white supremacist with a tattooed panzer referring to Nazi tanks. He's made known his backwards opinions of Israel as restoration, scapegoating them for U.S. intervention in Iran and Iraq. Director, what role do you anticipate Mr. Caldwell playing in shaping intelligence assessments or internal discussions related to Iran and Israel? And can you guarantee to this committee that no individuals in your leadership are undermining the objectivity of intelligence at this critical moment?
Sir, my understanding is one of my elements sought to hire Dan Caldwell months ago for a purely administrative role that would not have any position over the intelligence analysis or assessments on any topic.
Thank you. Director, as you know, the Iranian regime has been responsible for the deaths that we've talked about of scores of Americans since coming to power in '79. Iran and its terror proxies must be crushed. I've been clear on that point in the last weeks and throughout my time in Congress. I supported the decisive action taken on February 28th to remove key regime leaders and degrade Iran's ballistic missile and naval capabilities. However, I think it's really important the administration make its goals clear to Congress and to the American people. Director, were you in a meeting to discuss a possible strike on Iran?
Congressman, there were several meetings that were held in advance. I'm sure I was in at least some of them.
Did the intelligence community brief the President on the potential impacts the conflict can have on global supply chains and on oil and gas prices prior to the outbreak of hostilities? Were you in a meeting? Were you in any meetings where that came up?
Yes, that is the intelligence community's assessments, and those were provided.
Director, did the IC, Director Radcliffe, if I can ask this to you, did the IC brief the President on who would succeed the Supreme Leader if he was killed and the likelihood that a replacement would be a hardliner?
Was the President, say again,
did the IC brief the President on who would succeed the Supreme Leader if he was killed and the likelihood that a replacement would be a hardliner or could be a hardliner?
So, to be clear, the President's objectives with respect to Operation Epic Fury did not include regime change. That may be different from what Israel's objectives were, but yes, the President was briefed in the event that Supreme Leader...
That's great. Thank you so much. I'm sorry to cut you off. That's just 20 seconds. Director Patel, does Iran pose a threat to the homeland, and what specific steps are you taking to prevent, and disrupt terrorist plots targeting Americans at home?
Iran, as the world's largest state sponsor of terror, does pose a continuing threat to the homeland. And just last year, our Iran Threat Mission Center house and the FBI, our fusion cell, saw a 43% increase in Iranian spy actors willing to steal our information and attack our citizens. So that's just one example, sir.
Thank you, I yield.
Dr. Jackson.
Good morning. First off, I want to say thank you all for your time today, and thank you for our service to our country. Much appreciated. I thank the chairman for his opening remarks on anomalous health incidents, AHI. As many of you are aware, one of my primary responsibilities in this particular committee, I am the subcommittee chairman of Oversight and Investigations, where the investigation of AHI is and has been a central oversight effort. And so I am going to ask a quick question about this. Director Ratcliffe, during the Biden administration, the CIA very poorly, in my opinion, handled this issue. Since then, a CIA doctor has provided perjured testimony under oath and obstructed our congressional investigation.
A quick question for you. Do you affirm that the CIA personnel are under no direction to make false statements to Congress in order to conceal CIA equities or activities related to the handling of AHI during the Biden administration?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I want to ask Mr. Patel, I got a question for you here. As a member of this committee, I also have a regional responsibility that includes Africa. I'm very concerned about the radical Islamic terror threat that exists there and is growing by the day. Whether it's Al-Qaeda-affiliated groups such as JMI, AQIM, Al-Shabaab, or ISIS-inspired groups such as ISIS West Africa, ISIS Sahel, ISIS Somalia, or Boko Haram. These are radical, dangerous groups that want to kill Americans. After 4 years of an open border during the Biden administration, where we know countless individuals with terror ties linked to these groups crossed our southern border, and at a time
buying power auger
engaged
for excavation
jihadi terror.
Dig a 7 feet, 8 feet deep hole, and deep down and deep across.
To the Democrats' current defunding.
And one kind of fire to take care of weeds, like manual cutting weeds, or weeding,
in the glove with the Department of Homeland Security.
and to try to weed out those weeds against those exterior of the mobile house walls.
To work with, yes, funding.
Budget, and how much it will cost. And
One more question. Anyone that feels inclined can answer this.
and look for the cheapest alternative route. I'm trying to garden and dig a deep hole and just around the surroundings.
Occurred in Africa's Sahel region, including the Lake Chad Basin. Does the intelligence community assess that Boko Haram, ISIS West Africa, and other terrorist groups operating in the Lake Chad Basin are a threat to the U.S. interest, whether it's here in the homeland or regional U.S. interest? If so, how does this lack of counterterrorism cooperation that we're currently experiencing with the allied states of the Sahel, Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso impact that? And tied to that, how does the rise of alternative security forces such as Russia's Wagner Group or now Africa Corps, how has that impacted our counterterrorism efforts in the region?
Congressman, the continued rise of these Islamist terrorist groups, as you've pointed out, in Africa, West Africa, and around the world continues to be a serious concern and major focus of the intelligence community. The challenges within the region are very complex because they have to do with governance challenges in many of these countries. They have to do with economic challenges as well as external influences, both with funding and equipping of these terrorist organizations. So yes, it has made our counterterrorism, long-standing counterterrorism efforts in these regions, as well as those of our allies in this fight, such as the French and other countries, far more difficult because of the very real threat within that region to U.S. persons. If we are not able, if the U.S., if the Department of War is not able to coordinate with and get the support of these countries in order to tackle this terrorist threat, then it's not a safe or operable environment for them to continue that fight.
Thank you. And the assumption I'm working off of, too, is that the Russian influence via Wagner, Africa Corps, has made it very difficult for us to develop those relationships and get those agreements so that we can continue to, make sure that this is not being brought home to the homeland. Is that correct?
That is a factor of many.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I yield back. Ms. Houlihan.
Thank you. My question is basically starting with some HR questions, and they're first for Director Patel. If you could help me a little bit understand, I come out of the military family as well, but I don't know very much about the FBI's HR process or the growing up of an FBI expert. Could you help me understand how long it takes for a senior counterintelligence expert, especially one maybe focused on a very narrow threat, to be developed? How many years, I guess, would be my question.
Thank you, Congresswoman. That varies. Sometimes right out of Quantico, new agent trainees are placed on the counterintelligence mission set, and some people come in from the fraud section, so the answer varies. It could take a couple months to a couple of years.
And then next question is, when a person comes up in your system in the military, it was always the needs of the Navy or the needs of the Air Force. It was never the needs of the airman or the soldier or the sailor in terms of prioritizing our readiness, in terms of making sure that we met the mission. Is the FBI similar?
It is similar, ma'am. It's a dynamic threat landscape, so we flux and surge based on the CICT cyber threats and other threats to the homeland, and violent crime mission has seen a surge as well.
So my specific question is that there was a report that came out in February from CNN that the FBI had let go or fired dozens of agents and staff members from a counterintelligence unit tasked with monitoring Iran. And apparently the reason, at least reported in the press, was that these individuals had been involved in the investigation of classified document handling.
I'm hoping to see if I can sell the lawnmower to, I don't know, a pawn shop or something. Is there any pawn shop or any place I can actually buy a lawnmower without having to sell it on Facebook and all that? I'll be getting any buyers or anything.
I know there's a pendency of litigation, so I'm not able to comment on them.
Did you yourself order those firings?
The FBI, every time there is someone who violates their code of conduct or ethical standard, conducts an internal investigation with the careers there, and they present a decision point to me. The Iranian Threat Mission Center has seen an increase of 43% in arrests for Iranian spy actors. So the Iranian Threat Mission Center has never been stronger.
So I'm asking about whether those people were fired because they were involved in the investigation of the document handling by President Trump, not for any behavior issues. Is that your understanding as well?
Again, ma'am, I can't comment on them because those are impending litigation.
I guess I'm a little stymied here, Director, because it feels as though literally when there was a possible pending war, I'm outside of this intelligence circle in many ways, even though I serve on the Intelligence Committee. You collectively must have been aware when these firings happened that there was a meaningful chance that the U.S. might be engaged with a war in Iran. And having these very expert, super qualified folks summarily dismissed at this time.
Big news. Waiters Spring Cyber Week is here. Right now, get up to 80% off everything home with fast and free shipping right to your door. Shop Wayfair's Spring Cyber Week now at Wayfair.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
And 21% increase in cyber arrests against the Iranian Threat Mission Center. My focus is on providing the American people the strongest FBI as possible. I don't work on timelines, I work on evidence that's presented to me.
I guess my concern is that it feels as though, and I very much honor the tone and tenor of this hearing, that this is about making sure that we depoliticize what is the most important thing that we all do, which is keep us safe. And it feels as though this issue is a political issue, and I just am worried that we are taking really good, really qualified people and picking fights with one another across party lines, rather than making sure that we protect ourselves and keep ourselves safe. With the remainder of my time, Director Gabbard, I have a question regarding the fact that the Secretary of the Treasury loosened restrictions this week on Russian oil exports, and now that the Russians are able to sell oil again. Did the IC assess that clearing the way for increased Russian oil sales would benefit Moscow, possibly?
I don't believe there's been a formal IC assessment on this topic yet, as it is underway.
So I would highly encourage that, because it feels as though by easing these sanctions, we are directly providing the Kremlin with revenue that will be used directly to kill Ukrainian soldiers, and an increased likelihood that Putin will be successful in his war with Ukraine. I thank you for your time, and I yield.
Ms. Wagner.
I thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I want to thank our witnesses for being with us today. As we sit here in Washington, our armed forces and our intelligence assets are engaged in conflict with the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism, Iran. A radical, ruthless, and murderous regime that has killed and maimed thousands of United States troops and citizens over the past 50 years. CIA Director Ratcliffe, can you elaborate for the American people on the threat that Iran posed to our American personnel in the region prior to Operation Epic Fury? To the extent you can in open hearing.
Sure, Congressman, I'm happy to address that. I think it's well documented, and as you've encapsulated, Iran has been a constant threat for the last 47 years. Hundreds, if not thousands, of Americans killed, certainly thousands of Americans maimed as a result of activities of its IRGC over the years. But particularly, no cessation with respect to the threats to U.S. interests and forces in the region, not just from Iran, but from its proxies, from Iraqi militia groups like Kataib Hezbollah, Lebanese Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, all of these proxies, if you will, of the Iranian regime, funded by the Iranian regime, committing assaults and attacks on American interests persistently.
So they did pose
Absolutely.
an absolute threat.
A constant and immediate threat at all times.
Thank you. General Adams, as Director of the Defense Intelligence Agency, can you inform the American people about the threat our armed forces have eliminated thus far?
Yes, ma'am. Representative Wagner, thanks for the question, and I will like to go in detail. I'm going to cover a little bit here. We will be able to cover more detail in the classified session, but the goals that the President has set out that have been accomplished and executed by the Central Command were aligned along the DNI's discussion earlier. One, eliminate their ability to power project, and that was inclusive of ballistic missiles, but it also includes their UASs. And so we have been very effective. We can talk about specific numbers in the closed session.
Okay.
Their ability to reproduce both missiles and UASs we've been very effective. And you can tell from the news, in fact, the chairman talked about it this morning, we have sunk their Navy. And so those specific objectives have been very well accomplished, and we'll go into great detail in the class.
General Hartman, as Acting Director of the National Security Agency, can you explain how weakening the Iranian regime is impacting the availability of resources to our adversaries like China?
Hey, thanks for the question. Obviously not able to go into any classified discussion here, but certainly weakening the regime and weakening the collaboration between Iran, China, Russia, other adversaries has a global effect of making the world safer.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for all your insights, and thank you for keeping our troops and our American people safe. As you know, I chaired the first ever subcommittee on open source intelligence. Over the past year, our subcommittee has been working tirelessly to ensure the intelligence community is leveraging the vast amount of commercially available information to the highest degree of efficiency and cost effectiveness. Director Ratcliffe, as the CIA is the functional manager of open source intelligence, does the CIA know which data has been acquired across all agencies within the IC?
Thanks for the question, Congresswoman. As you know, the CIA's open source enterprise is driving the open source collection across the entire IC in support of the administration's top priorities. Two of those priorities I've already talked about: counter-narcotics and threats from adversaries, use of emerging technologies. Those collections, as a result of our open source, are up 70% and 40 or 45% collectively. The CIA does lead the IC in pioneering new uses of AI to extract insights from the vast amounts of open source data that are there, that we then share with analysts, warfighters, everyone across the IC.
I thank you. My time has expired. I have a lot more questions dealing with open source that we will do in closed session. So I thank you. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Before I recognize Mr. Gomez, I want to make sure that all members have an opportunity to vote because they are prepared to close that vote on the floor. If you haven't, please go do so at this time. It looks like we're good. All right, Mr. Gomez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to get right into it. Director Gabbard, last year you testified that Iran was not building a nuclear weapon. Do you stand by that statement? Yes or no?
Context matters with that. Yes or no? Iran had all of the
I reclaim my time to do so. Mr. Chairman, I reclaim my time. It's an easy answer. You either stand by what you said last year or not.
It is a serious question.
When President Trump was asked about your testimony, he said you were wrong. Were you lying or not?
I stand by the intelligence community's complete assessment.
Director Ratcliffe, when it came to the director's testimony, she said that Iran was not building a nuclear weapon last spring in Congress, and so the Supreme Leader has not authorized the nuclear weapons program. Do you agree with what she said or not? Yes or no?
The director's right here. She can speak for herself.
Oh, so I thought this was an intelligence community briefing. Let's move on. Trump also said he didn't care what you thought or said. Should he care about what you have to say when it comes to intelligence?
I continue to provide the president with the intelligence community's assessments on all matters.
So let me just kind of get this straight. The department, you said that Iran was not building a nuclear weapon last year. President Trump said he didn't care what you thought, and you were wrong. They engaged in Operation Midnight Hammer. He then says it was obliterated. We hear later reports that in the open source reporting that it was only set back by a few months. Then at the beginning of this war, he said that they were weeks away. I just want to kind of get a sense. Were they weeks away of achieving a nuclear weapon? Yes or no?
Congressman, this is a serious matter, and you've made some very serious mischaracterizations here.
Were they weeks
away? It is a disservice to you and the American people to answer this question with a mere yes or no.
Were they weeks away or not? The American people need to know if this was an imminent threat or not. If they're weeks away or not. If they're months away or not. None of this dodging. Were they an imminent threat? Yesterday you said that only the president, the only person who can determine what is an imminent threat is the President of the United States. Do you stand by that statement?
Yes, I do.
Director Ratcliffe, do you agree with that assessment? That the President is the only person that can determine if something is an imminent threat or not?
The President's commander-in-chief gets to make a decision about what's an imminent threat. The intelligence community, well, the intelligence community is provided a body of intelligence that supports the decision.
The President can determine and ignore what you're doing. Why do you guys even have a job? Why do you even advise them? So you're saying tomorrow the President of the United States can say China is an imminent threat, and then he can take his own, no matter what the intelligence says, he can take his own action. So that's what you're basically saying. Okay, let's go on. Director Gabbard, you said that North Korea has intercontinental ballistic missiles that can reach the homeland. Yet, the Defense Department said that Iran was at least 10 years away from achieving an intercontinental ballistic missile that can reach the homeland. Which one is a more serious threat, North Korea or Iran?
These threats are taken within the context of the total body of intelligence reporting.
So that's it should be, and that's my point. It's not just about having the capability of building a weapon. It's if they can actually deliver that weapon. If they have the intention of doing that. How many weeks away are they? We haven't heard that they were weeks away. We haven't heard that they're months away. But that's what we're waiting for. Imminent, to me, means is that they're mobilizing troops. They're moving things into position, artillery. They're getting ready to attack. But everything that we've heard is that this is not the case.
Gentleman's time has expired. Mr. Klein.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for being here and for the work you do. It's a marvel that just 1 year of strong leadership from the White House has shifted the conversation in this room from that of appeasement and passivity from the Biden administration to that of American strength brought about by the doctrine in Venezuela and Operation Epic Fury in Iran. And it's not lost on me that as we sit here, we have one side of the dais talking a big game on threats, and yet they're unwilling to even fund our Department of Homeland Security. I want to thank President Trump's leadership in each of your efforts. Because of your efforts, Americans are safer today with two less despots to deal with. Nevertheless, there remains work to be done. While Venezuela and Iran are in decline, aggression from adversarial nations like China and Russia and near constant threats of terrorism and cyber warfare continue to persist. The Chinese Communist Party in particular remains a top adversary that routinely deals in bad faith, and this was highlighted most recently by White House Office Director of National Drug Control Policy, Sarah Carter, when she delivered recent remarks in Vienna saying, quote, "We know that China's weak export controls and lax enforcement allow its chemical industry to foster friendships with drug cartels. At the same time, China's overly effective controls over rare earth minerals wreak havoc on legitimate industries," end quote. Of course, we're now seeing reports of a new synthetic opioid called cyclorphine that is said to be 10 times more potent than fentanyl and undetectable on fentanyl test strips. As you know, President Trump may meet with President Xi in the near future, where trade and export controls will most certainly be discussed. Director Gabbard, what is your assessment of the quality and quantity of AI compute that China can indigenously manufacture?
The majority of this question should be addressed in a closed hearing. The intelligence community's assessment is that China continues to rapidly advance its AI capability.
You assess that export controls on semiconductor manufacturing equipment and AI compute have been effective, slowing the development and deployment of Chinese AI?
The intelligence community's assessment is that one of the effects of those export controls is China has increased its focus on developing its own organic capability.
What do you assess would be the economic and national security impacts if the U.S. decided to loosen export controls and allow the sale of NVIDIA Blackwell GPUs or large numbers of H200s to China?
I don't believe there's an intelligence community assessment on that specific scenario.
I think that these national security implications should be weighed heavily when conducting these talks, considering that fentanyl overdoses are only down in the U.S. thanks to the President's leadership in securing our borders and taking the fight directly with the cartels in our hemisphere and not the empty words and actions of the Chinese Communist Party. Our adversaries are constantly conducting cyber operations on U.S. government and private sector networks to steal information and money or conduct disruptive cyber attacks. We've just been tracking the Chinese Typhoon actors for several years, and just last week the Wall Street Journal reported that Salt Typhoon actors, which were responsible for targeting U.S. telecom, may have accessed sensitive FBI networks. I may have more to follow up on. In the closed session for now, I want to discuss how the overall U.S. government posture is going to change based on President Trump's cyber strategy, which was released last week. Been frustrated for some time about the unwillingness of prior administrations to decisively take action, including the use of offensive cyber operations. And Director Patel, I begin with you. What can we expect from the FBI moving forward to be more aggressive on both defensive and offensive cyber activity?
Thank you, Congressman. So as you stated, the President just launched a new national security cyber strategy. Within that is what the FBI just launched 60 days ago. It's the most comprehensive cyber program we've ever put out called Winter Shield. And what we do, connecting Pillar 1 and Pillar 4 of the President's strategies that go on offense and defense. And so what we've done already is while we are always going after nation-state actors, we also have to engage with the private sector communities because they're going after the private sector as well. We've held 355 engagements in the last 60 days with enterprises across America to harden their networks. And as you recall, just a couple of months ago, our banking infrastructure was hit by a ransomware attack from overseas. In one weekend, the FBI disrupted and kicked off every one of those bad actors from that network, saving the American people their valued billions in those bank vaults. So this is some of the things we're doing, but we need constant engagement with the private sector.
Great. General Hartman, what efforts are underway at NSA to bolster intelligence collection and threat detection and coordination with other federal agencies to target adversary cyber operations?
Congressman, that is a significant effort to really focus our cybersecurity director, working very closely with Director Patel and our Cybersecurity Collaboration Center, which has thousands of analyst-to-analyst relationships with private organizations across the country. We need more work, not just from an offensive standpoint, but working across government and certainly working across private industry. And we're both dedicated and resourced to doing that, Congressman.
Thank you for what you do.
Hey, Ryan, I was here for Mint Mobile. I first ditched big wireless and started using Mint Mobile way back in 2019. Now $15 a month. Today, Mint Mobile's premium wireless has gone up by, wow, that's it, zero. It's gone up $0 a month. That's 2019. That doesn't seem fiscally responsible to me, but I get that.
Congressman, I'll give you the exact number, but sort of the way people pay attention to this.
Thank you. Congressman, yes, we have an election crimes coordinator at each one of our 56 field offices and election crimes coordinators at headquarters. Thank you.
Yes, we have personnel dedicated both to election security as well as foreign intelligence related to election influence.
Thank you.
Yes, we do as well. I don't know the numbers, but what we do collect and we contribute to the larger IC coordination.
Thank you.
Representative Quigley, we do not, to my knowledge, have anyone at DA on that topic.
A question again for all of you. Well, first, Director Gabbard, you've seen the reports about whether or not Russia has helped Iran in targeting in the current war in Iraq. Or is that something we're going to save for a closed session?
We'll save that for the closed session, sir.
But within that context, on CNBC, Steve Witkoff said on a recent call with President Trump, Russian leaders denied they were sharing this target information. Shock, surprise, all that they would do that about U.S. military assets with the Iranians. Mr. Witkoff said, so you know, quote, we can take them at their word. Let's hope they're not doing this. Just from your own sense, and for many of you who have been fighting in the Cold War for a long time, a long lost sense of a Reagan doctrine. Just general, it is your sense that you can take Putin at his word on anything involving military, diplomatic, or intel assessment.
Hey, Congressman, from an intelligence standpoint, we don't take anyone at their word from a foreign standpoint.
Okay, I'm just checking. Mic check, testing. Oh man, I don't have a microphone. Okay, well, if you can barely hear me, I'll do my best, but again, it's here in the common space, here in the living room. Uh, I apologize for our poor quality content and all that, but I'm gonna go ahead and communicate and start resuming the commentary live stream. All right, so before I continue with everything else, I want to take a moment to properly introduce myself for those who are new here, and even those who have been around, have known me, have knew me, have seen me around, but may not fully know my background. So for those who care to know me, and for those who have known me, this is a reintroduction. My name is Tai Am Nguyen. Tai Am Nguyen. That's spelled T-A-I, first name, M, initial, middle initial, Nguyen. That's T-A-I, M, middle initial, M, and then last name, Nguyen. Tai Am Nguyen. Or Nguyen, win, like I win the game. You simply say that. So that is who I am. Now here's an interesting culture. Now here's an interesting cultural fact that many people may not know. So typical one fun fact about my last name or my first name. The last name Nguyen, Nguyen, is actually one of the most common last names in Vietnam. Again, the last name Nguyen is actually one of the most common last names in Vietnam. A very large percentage of Vietnamese people share that last name, even if they are not directly related. So once again, the last name Nguyen is actually one of the most common last names in Vietnam. A very large percentage of Vietnamese people share that last name, even if they are not directly related. This traces back historically to dynasties. This traces back historically to dynasties, particularly the Nguyen dynasty, where many people adopted the name due to political and social transitions over time. So today you'll see Nguyen everywhere. You'll see Nguyen everywhere across Vietnamese communities worldwide. So there you go. So even though many of us share that name, it does not necessarily mean we are all from the same family. It's more of a widespread cultural identity, if that makes sense. So it traces back historically to dynasties, particularly the Nguyen dynasty, where many people adopted the name due to political and social transitions over time. So today you see Nguyen everywhere across Vietnamese communities worldwide. So even though many of us share that name, it does not necessarily mean we are all from the same family. It's more of a widespread cultural identity. If that makes sense, hopefully. As for my first name, Tai, T-A-I, like Thailand, Taiwan, tie my shoes, tiebreaker, breaking the tie. As for my first name, Tai, that is also a common name across parts of Asia, especially Southeast Asia, China, Vietnam, Japan, Korea, Southeast Asia. So overall, my name reflects a very traditional and common background within Vietnamese culture. Now speaking about who I am personally, let me do my stretch. Oh boy. Okay, guys, I'm gonna do my morning stretch. Oh, my right arm, my right shoulder stuff. Oh, okay, much better. All right, doing some stretching, trying to pop my back muscles. So yes, my first name is common, also common name across parts of Asia, especially in Southeast Asia. You know, it's a common background within Vietnamese culture, traditionally. Now, speaking about who I am personally, I am Vietnamese, specifically South Vietnamese in heritage. Let's see, what my wife say? All right, sorry, I'm just checking the chat on the messenger on Facebook. Let's see. Alright, just checking on the chat on the messenger. Sorry, there's some chat going on. So yeah, just chatting with friends, checking up on wife on the Facebook Messenger, on the messenger on the chat. But anyway, back to the point, back on topic. It's almost 10 a.m. and soon I'll be out doing lunch drop. So again, my first and last name is a common background, common name in Vietnam and Vietnamese culture. So I am Vietnamese, specifically South Vietnamese in heritage, nationality-wise, and ethnicity. God, I cannot pronounce that word. Or my ethnic background, heritage, national, is South Vietnamese, Vietnam. And I was born here in the United States of America, in Texas, around the Austin and Pflugerville area. Growing up, I remember my immediate family, my grandparents' parents, they owned a business. My grandparents used to own a Vietnamese supermarket called Saigon Supermarket. That was a long time ago on Lamar Street, towards 183 Research Boulevard on the Lamar area. So both my immediate family members were business owners a long time ago, growing up. So I represent both sides, my cultural roots and being raised here in America. I'm Vietnamese Asian American. I also want to be open about something important regarding myself. So I also want to be open about something important regarding myself. I was diagnosed early with autism spectrum disorder, ASD. I was diagnosed early with autism spectrum disorder. Let me take out this hard hat, this blue hard hat. I'll put it on the floor. So yes, I'm diagnosed early with autism, ASD, autism spectrum disorder, specifically high functioning autism. What that means in practical terms is I am able to drive. I mean, you can see me, I'm able to drive. I am able to work and hold jobs. I function independently, autonomously. So yes, I am high functioning autism, specifically on the autism spectrum disorder. I can still drive, I can hold down and work jobs. I function independently. I can still think like every normal person out there. I am living the American dream to the best of my abilities, what I can afford. But socially, I can be more sensitive in real life, face-to-face interactions. Communication, tone, and situations can affect me differently compared to others. It depends on certain people, certain person. Fortunately, I can respond better to certain person, and I don't respond better or handle certain person based on their tone, attitude, communication, style, how they talk. It is very hard for autisms when it comes to communication and how they handle stress and all that. Interestingly, when it comes to online content, news, politics, social media, anything through here, the computer, on the internet wise, I'm generally less reactive. So once again, interestingly, when it comes to online content, whether that's news, politics, social media, I'm generally less reactive. It often takes a lot more to really get my attention or emotional response in that space. So again, if it's regarding news, like on TV, and it doesn't have to do with me, like news, politics, it doesn't really bother me that much. I'm less reactive. It takes a lot more to really get my attention or emotional response in that regard, in that space. So there is a contrast when it comes to being autistic, or at least particularly with me being autistic, high functioning autistic. So there's a contrast. More sensitivity in person, more neutral or unaffected through screens. And that's just part of how I operate, who I am, being autistic. Now on a more personal and positive note. I've been passionate about storytelling for a long time, since around the fifth grade in elementary school year, throughout middle school and high school. I'm passionate about storytelling. That passion grew into what I do today, whenever I get the chance in my free time. I am a content creator and I operate across multiple platforms: YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, Wattpad, Blogspot, and other writing platforms or other related social medias. I focus on storytelling, content creation, and building something meaningful over time. And just for fun, my top three favorite anime of all time in the universe are Sword Art Online, Code Geass, The Luge of the Rebellion, Saga of Tanya the Evil, or Sword Art Online, Saga of Tanya the Evil, Code Geass, The Luge of the Rebellion, my top three favorite anime of all time of the universe. Those series have had a strong influence on how I think about storytelling, writing content or writing story contents, story writing, strategy, and character development. So to summarize, that's that's who I am: a content creator, a storyteller, someone building step by step, someone balancing real life responsibilities with creative goals, and someone who is continuing to grow, to progress, climb up the ladder of success and prosperity, climbing up the ladder to success and prosperity, trying to be successful, trying to make money, to keep this roof over our head, keep this household, and to succeed and to become a father figure, grandparents, trying to have kids, live the American dream like everyone else, trying to live a normal life. And a person, coping with autism or any other mental disabilities. I want to, I want to start this live stream with full transparency, but again, I used to have a late start, just doing a lot of house chores around this household residence. I took out the trash, I did the dishes, put on the news here in the common space. I took out those big cardboard boxes, and I just want to communicate that my immediate family members will be coming over Saturday, and there'll be some packages coming over tomorrow, Friday, so I'll be getting some packages at the front porch, front door of the household residence. And once again, my parents, my family, my parents, my immediate family members will be coming over this week, Saturday, either morning or afternoon. So I already am aware of that, and they communicated with me transparently. And like yesterday, late night, I did communicate. If we have guests or future visitors or guests, you gotta let me know precisely. Let me know. Sunbeam Titan. Let Sunbeam Titan know that you'll be coming over. ETA, 3 hours, 4 hour drive from whatever city. I'm gonna put gas in the car. You gotta let me know, and the purpose of why you're coming over. It doesn't hurt to ask, but it doesn't hurt to communicate transparently. This is me and my wife's home, and if you're hanging out for my wife, picking up my wife, taking my wife to have fun, making sure she comes back home before work. If she missed work and doesn't communicate normally on Facebook or Instagram, I know her social communication, like her communication habits. She posts a lot on Facebook and Instagram, and she does chat on Discord. So I know all her surrounding friends and other people, like other friends that are not friends with me. I know that she talks to them too. So I'm aware of her surrounding friend circles and all the regular friends that they chat on Discord. My wife chat on Discord and Facebook and Instagram, and I let them know I let them know as well. When we get family obligations comes first. We must participate in family events, be there for the family, and of course, work obligations. My wife has to be back at work before 7 a.m. or early morning. She has to work 10 hours where she works at. She works 4 days a week and has 3 days off, but sometimes she gets two days off and she works 5 days a week overtime. 10 hours where she works at. So yeah, I wanted to start the live stream with full transparency and clarity, especially for those who are new here or for those who may have questions about who I am. As you can see, this is the real me. No deepfake, no AI. I'm used to wear that hard hat and I wear that SAO cap. That's real. I'm real as I am. I'm not hiding behind a VTuber avatar. I'm not hiding behind a VTuber avatar. I'm not hiding a deepfake or AI deepfake or whatever. This is the real me. I'm showing my face. True for all to see, to the general public of Facebook and the internet. And if I get this shared and posted on Facebook, not Facebook, maybe Instagram, YouTube, or Rumble, or Twitch, or any other social media. Right now it's almost 10 a.m. It is 9:58 a.m. It is almost 10 a.m. Soon I'm gonna be going out on the road to do lunch drop delivery gig. Oh boy. my left leg is cramping. Oh boy. Oh, I hate having cramped legs. Gotta stretch my leg. So I'm literally home alone. So again, I'm home alone, and then I pick up my wife in the evening from work. I am the only one here in the household resident, home alone, by myself. If anything happens to me, I mean, it's all caught on the live stream. I'm recording, got the webcam on. You know, you can see me clearly. For all those who have known me or have knew me, this is what I look like. I'm in my early 30s, here inside this household residence of me and my wife, our own home sweet home. So you can see this is the real me. Growing up, I have dealt with moderate to severe acne breakouts since around middle school. This has been something consistent throughout my life, not just on my face, but also across my upper body, around my waist, and even inner areas like the thighs. So yeah, I'm growing up, still continuing to deal with moderate to severe pimple, acne, zit breakouts around my face, some on my forehead, upper shoulder blades, shoulders, chest, waist, inner thighs. So mostly around there I've been dealing with some moderate to severe acne breakouts. So what you are seeing right now, acne scars, pimple scars, hyperpigmentation, dark spots on my cheeks, marks across my shoulders and upper bodies, you know, hyperpigmentations across my shoulder blades, on my back, maybe some on my chest, and visible dark areas along the bridge and nostrils of my nose. So right here is not dust, it's just the birthmark or the hyperpigmentation. These dark spots on my bridge of the nose and nostrils here. They're not dirt or dust, and I do take sometimes 2 to 3 showers a day. Sometimes when I ever go to conventions or go to hotels, I take 7 showers or even heavy baths. My wife knew and my family knew, and those who have been close to me, any regular friends that have been close to me, have seen me taking a shower, have witnessed splashing water on my face and all that. And if there's the dark spots still here on the bridge of my nose, this is not dirt. This is hyperpigmentation. This is dark spots. Dark spots on my cheeks, dark spots here on the bridge of my nose. Those are called post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, dark spots from acne, pimples. These are all natural and real features of my skin. I want to make something very clear. Even after washing my face multiple times, taking showers, and maintaining hygiene, those marks remain. They are not dirt, not dust, and not something temporarily. They are a part of a long-term skin conditions such as acne scarring and pigmentation, pigments, skin discoloration. There are also times where I had fire ant bites, mosquito bites, sugar bites, insects, bug bites, especially recently while doing outdoor work and gardening or landscaping. So everything you see here is authentic, not fake or deep fake or AI generated or Photoshop. It is authentically real. And my hair is growing long. I can feel the thickness growing right here, the bangs, the front side of the hair. Soon I might get a call from my immediate family saying if I want to get a haircut in Chinatown. I'll be like, yeah, my family will pay for it. But yeah, my hair's growing, so soon, eventually I'll get a haircut, the next haircut. Oh, I'm so tired after chatting. I'm getting dehydrated really quick for talking. Oh my gosh. Yep, I'm still feeling tired. Oh my gosh. That's what I get for staying up late night yesterday or early morning in the middle of the night around 2 a.m. But yeah, I'm just trying to broadcast, speak my mind, exercising the First Amendment, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of press and media and recording. So fully exercising responsibility or responsibly the First Amendment rights. So yeah, especially recently doing outdoor work and gardening, I've been getting fire ant bites, mosquito bites, chigger bites, or just insects, bug bites. So everything you see here is authentic, authentically real. And I say this respectfully, anyone attempting to impersonate or replicate me digitally whether through AI or otherwise, will not be able to realistically reproduce these exact skin details, patterns, and characteristics with precision. So I doubt AI or deepfake or any photo shoot would not be able to realistically reproduce these exact skin details. So nobody cannot mimic me with clear skin, like with exact acne or pimple breakout, because the real me has very bad acne on my cheeks. You can see the scars, you can see the mole, the pigment, hyperpigmentations, dark spots. Nobody cannot replicate these dark spots on the nostrils of the nose, because those are not dirt or dust. They're skin birth defects or something. Birth, skin birth, or whatever you call it. Skin. Can't think. My brain is farting so much. Having trouble thinking. Processing dots. So they're birthmarks. Yeah, birthmarks or hyperpigmentation. Either way, I mean, it could be birthmarks or dark spots, but they're hyperpigmentations. So this is part of my identity. This is how I look. This is real. Now going into a brief life update. So as of Saturday, March 7th, 2026, during rainy weather conditions afternoon, me and my immediate family members completed a full move. We rented a U-Haul, moved all of our belongings from the old bedroom, did heavy lifting, carried items downstairs. The flight of stairs is almost a safety hazard, and it's stressful because it's heavy. All the heavy furnitures are heavy. It's just me, my wife, and my immediate family, and officially transitioned out of my previous family household into this new home as of Saturday, March 7th, 2026. Since that date, it's 10:05 a.m. Since that date, we have been settling in and adjusting to this new environment. Now, continuing forward with who I am. I know I said this before, I introduced myself, but I'll reintroduce myself once more. My name is Tai M. Nguyen. Tai M. Nguyen. And I've already introduced more about my background earlier, or several of my previous live streams where I introduced myself. But just to reinforce, I am currently in my early 30s, and for those interested in my personal details, my zodiac sign is Scorpio. My Chinese zodiac is the Rooster. As for lifestyle and priorities, I used to attend anime conventions more frequently and stay heavily involved in that space. While I still have an appreciation for anime and otaku culture, and in that culture, my priorities have shifted significantly. Right now, my focus is on real life responsibilities and sustainability. That includes paying bills, managing rent, utilities and internet, car maintenance such as oil change, tire rotation or wheel alignment, brakes, insurance, paying this house payment like mortgage, phone expenses, household needs, and grocery shopping. So at this point in time, I am prioritizing needs over wants. Because of that, I want to be clear. I will not be attending many conventions, including upcoming ones like WeebCon in early April. Additionally, I am also mindful that my wife's birthday is coming up later in April. Again, my wife's birthday will be coming up in late April, and it's something that she cares about, which is another important personal priority that I'll create a Google Calendar and to document and to remember and to log my wife's birthday on late April. So my wife's birthday will be in late April next month, and I'm aware of that, and just communicating that to the general public of the internet, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and other spaces. Oh, I'm feeling so sleepy. It's 10:08 a.m. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna get me some water, try to stay awake, give me some soda to drink. So be right back. Oh.
That's right, viewers. Make sure you get hydrated. Stay hydrated. Drink your water. I've been trying to tell that to my wife, communicate with my wife to drink water. I don't know. I don't know if she try to stay updated on her hydration, but I let her know to drink water. Make sure to stay hydrated and drink water. So I'm sharing this to all of you viewers watching my Facebook live stream. Drink water. Make sure to, eat breakfast. Eat breakfast, eat something, drink water. And it's already 10:09. I already got my alarm set too, so I can check my lunch drop. Alright, it's 10:10. So you see there? I'm gonna show this on, let me check on my, you see there on my phone? It's 10:10. You're scheduled to work today. Please confirm before 10:30 a.m. You will be available for a route. So you're scheduled to work today. Please confirm before 10:30 a.m. that you will be available for a route. So this is the lunch drop app. So let me click yes, I'm available. Boom. So right now it's Thursday, March 19. Is already 10:10. So at 10:10 you'll be getting that route for those doing lunch drop, catering, delivery gig. My phone percent is at 84, 83%. I got the Wi-Fi and all that. So upcoming holiday Memorial will be on May 25th. That's 2 months from now. So they'll be closed on Monday. All right. So availability. So this is what my lunch drop app looks like. See, I got a text from Lunch Drop Austin. Load your app before 10:30. So I'm just showing this for transparency. I got 2 more. If I can work Friday on time, I'll get that $50 for 10-day consistency bonus. I'm just being transparent, so showing the pay rate. This is what I get paid. So if I work monthly and annual every year, since I'm a 1099 independent contractor working for Lunch Drop, this is the base pay. You see, this is how much I get paid for the driver get paid, and yeah, I'm just trying to document all that here on Facebook, just for transparency purposes. Oh, okay. I gotta check my short story short story lovers. All right, so I got a text from Lunch Drop. So again, it says, please load your app before 10:30 a.m. to confirm you are still available for a route. So yeah, should probably wrap this up on the live stream. All right, let me continue what I was doing. I gotta head out soon. I gotta be somewhere in Austin at ATX soon. I don't want to be late. I don't know how far the route will take me, but I might have 2 usual pickups, 3, 4, or 5 drop off, office company. So yeah, I gotta pay my, expenses. Gotta pay to keep this roof over our head, house payment, lot rent, phone expenses, household needs, grocery shopping. So at this point in time, I am prioritizing needs over wants. Because of that, I want to be clear. I will not be attending many conventions or public events. Again, I will not be attending many conventions, including upcoming ones like WeebCon in early April. Additionally, I am also mindful that my wife's birthday is coming up later in April, which is another important personal priority. Taking care of my wife, being there for my wife, respecting her birthday wish. Her birthday is next month in late April, so I want to make that
clear and communicate that to all the viewers hearing me out. If you can hear me, hopefully you can hear me. At the end of the day, this is where I'm at. Living independently, managing responsibilities, staying grounded in reality, and continuing to move forward step by step. I want to give a quick but clear public update on what's going on today and what I've been working on. So again, just a little recap here. Early this morning, I took my wife to work, made it back home safely, and started the day simple and grounded. I cooked some breakfast, some ramen. I already finished it off camera. So I cooked some ramen, had breakfast, and got myself ready to stay productive, as usual. I took out the trash, took out the big boxes right here, as shown on the ASMR style here on the web camera on Facebook. I took out the trash, took out the recycle bin, went out, in and out, and trying to clear up some space here in the big common area, the living room. And then I'm currently live streaming, heading out soon for lunch drop for Thursday route. Now moving forward until today and tomorrow, I want to talk about something practical, cleaning up and handling large cardboard and recycling. I've been dealing with a lot of oversized boxes, shipping boxes, open packages, things that don't fit into regular bins. Instead of forcing them into the trash or leaving things unorganized, I look into the proper solution. And here's the good news, or the news. There is an official free recycling drop-off center right here, somewhere here in Pflugerville, in the city of Pflugerville, that accepts large cardboard. It's called the Pflugerville Recycle Center or Austin Recycle Center somewhere, located at Light Near Way, Pflugerville, Texas. It is free for residents, city residents, open Friday, Saturday, and Monday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Okay, I'm glad they open on weekend from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. They accept large cardboard boxes, even oversized ones. This location is actually very close to where I'm at, near Boulder Ridge, near the Sun communities. So near Boulder Ridge, so it's honestly the best and most efficient option. So what I'll be doing is gathering all the boxes, or most of it, that can fit in the vehicle, possibly flattening them if needed, loading them into the vehicle, driving over and dropping them off properly. Quick, clean, and done the right way. Tomorrow is also trash day for here. Tomorrow is also trash day, so I'll be taking out the trash bins, cleaning up the recycling, organizing everything around the house, staying structured, staying responsible, staying accountable, being a responsible homeowner, and being productive. Now, as part of daily life and planning ahead, I'll also be looking into groceries again, properly budgeting around $200 to $300 to restock and maintain the household properly. That's just part of keeping things running, food, utilities, responsibilities. It all adds up, and I'm staying on top of it to the best of my abilities whenever I can. Well, one man cannot do this. And alongside of all this, I'm continuing my journey as a content creator, live streaming, producing content on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, all that. I truly appreciate everyone who has followed, subscribed, supported. Hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, or even just taking the time to watch. Appreciate your views and sharing and all that. That support means a lot more than people realize. And I'm grateful, appreciate it. I'm working toward building something real, consistent content, real life documentation, and eventually reaching monetization across platforms. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Rumble. Hoping that I can get enough followers or subscribers to help me hit the monetization requirements. So if you're here and you genuinely support what I'm doing, if you enjoy my content, please hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button on YouTube, follow me on Rumble, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, help me grow. I want to be a successful content creator like Mr. Beast. I want to take a few moments to speak openly, respectfully, and clearly about something important regarding my household, communication, and how we operate moving forward. This is not about calling anyone out or creating conflict. This is about structure, respect, safety, and clarity, especially now that me and my wife are living in our own home and managing our responsibilities independently and autonomously. This is a husband and wife duo, a marriage team, marriage partnership, as some of my friends say. It should be between me and my wife shouldn't be like saying all this to her surrounding friends or on the internet, on Facebook or whatever. Every friends and peers respectfully need to stay out of it, butt out of it. Should be between me and my wife, and I'm trying to work on that. You know, communicate with my wife one on one. So I'm just sharing that to the internet to all the viewers watching because I don't know who my wife talks to. She talks to some friends that are not friends with me, and I don't want my wife to be controlled or manipulated in a dishonest or in a tragic way. I don't want my wife to be controlled or manipulated or misled into doing something bad or harmful or dangerous. I would try to tell that to my wife to think right from wrong and understand right from wrong and to try to do things with common sense. You know, basically don't hurt people, don't go out harming people, don't be violent, don't put anybody in the hospital. You know, understand that. Yeah, because there are consequences. Yeah, I'm just checking my messenger here, my chat messenger, and I think friends or someone is talking on there. But yeah, I'm trying to communicate that my wife, she does talk to her friends, and I want to make sure that her friends are what they say. They're true friends and not fake friends that try to do anything for some kind of gain or misleading, harming my wife or hurting somebody. I don't want my wife to be manipulated to do bad things. I'm aware of that, and I'm not trying to be overprotective, but I just want to make sure that my wife is doing okay. She's safe, and she's brought back home for work whenever she has work obligations. So it's not about calling anyone out or creating conflict. You know, it's about structure, communication, coordination, clarity, safety, and respect, mutual respect. You know, especially that now me and my wife are living in our own home and managing our responsibilities independently. It's 10:20. I should head out soon. I should head out now. You know, when it comes to visitors, guests, and plans involving my wife, I am simply asking for clear and consistent communication. From my perspective, when communication is unclear, scattered, or doesn't fully connect, it creates confusion. And I believe situations like that can easily be avoided with proper updates. So I'm gonna stop right there and I'm gonna end the live stream. All right. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and end the live stream. It's 10:21 a.m. and I gotta drive all the way to ATX, northwest of ATX, to do my lunch drop gig, to try to do my lunch drop route. I'm pretty sure I'm going to heavily anticipate that it will be two pickups, 4 drop-offs at office companies, banks, maybe school, sometimes hospital, or typical office companies or manufacturing companies like Amazon or Flextronics, Electron, or Cisco. I'm gonna turn off the TV. Oh. So don't forget to hydrate. So any viewers watching, make sure to drink water. Drink your water. They're about $4 at Costco. I bought a pack of water for about $4, and they might be $4.30 with inflation. Gas prices are going up because of the war in Iran. Freaking politics. So yeah, the gas prices are going up about almost $4 a gallon. Trying to see my wife say something. Check my notification on Facebook. So yeah, just gonna relax, keep my feet up. So again, viewer discretion is advice. Viewer discretion is advice. They got foot content, feet content. So it'll be foot centric. Just trying to stretch my toes. So you love feet, thank you for following me. Oops. All right. Well, that concludes the live stream. So there's your foot-centric feet content on the live stream. Thank you for following me. Thank you for subscribing. I am General Sunbeam. Let me share my social media links. All right, gonna copy and paste on the comments here. Gonna post on the comments. Just refreshing to see if there's any updates. Okay, no new comments. So there I posted, again, First Amendment disclaimer, viewer discretion is advised. Again, this is an adult house, and this adult house will have security cameras, surveillance cameras, so just a heads up. And my immediate family members will be coming over this week, 2 days from now, Saturday, early morning or afternoon. So I know my family have communicated with me. They'll be coming over to this household residence Saturday weekend. And again, First Amendment disclaimer, viewer discretion is advised, and there's my social media handles and my wife's social media. Follow us on Rumble, follow us on YouTube, subscribe, and thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in, watching, hearing me communicate from start to finish. I'm going to head out and do my lunch drop gig out in ATX, so I'm going to be out on the road. So, peace.